When Bang Si-hyuk spoke, the entire Korean entertainment industry world seemed to pause. The man behind BTS' global success is making waves again, this time not because of the announcement of a new project, but because of his bold statement. He compared himself to Jungkook. Yes, Bang Si-hyuk, the founder of HYBE and the most influential figure in BTS's journey, surprisingly mentioned that he sees himself in Jungkook. The statement immediately made the South Korean entertainment world uproar, and Jungkook's name again topped trending on various global platforms. The statement came as Bang Si-hyuk attended an international music forum in Seoul, where he was asked to explain the secret of HYBE's artist's success. In a relaxed yet meaningful atmosphere, Bang Si-hyuk said, "Every generation has someone who not only works hard, but also lives for music. If I used to think I was that person, now I see that figure in Jungkook." The sentence slid quietly, but the impact felt like a rumble throughout the room. Journalists were scrambling to write. Fans were immediately excited on social media, and industry observers were silent for a moment, not expecting such a comparison to come out of Bang Si-hyuk's own mouth. For those who have followed BTS's journey since the beginning, those words are not just compliments. It was a confession, because Bang Si-hyuk is known to be not the type of person who easily makes emotional or symbolic statements in public. He rarely mentions one specific name, let alone compares himself to an artist he grew up with. But this time it was different. In him, he saw the same reflections of struggle, ambition, and loneliness. Bang Si-hyuk once told me that when he was young, he lived off music, not for fame, but to survive. He sleeps in the studio, eats potluck, and writes songs to live one more day. And now, when he looks at Jungkook, he sees a similar pattern. Jungkook is known as a perfectionist in BTS. Since the age of 15, he has left home to pursue his dreams in Seoul, with no guarantee of a future. He is not just an idol who dances and sings, but a hard worker who refuses to stop until he reaches perfection. In many interviews, Jungkook often admitted that he could not sleep if he felt that his performance was not good enough. He continues to rewatch every performance, analyze his own mistakes, and train even harder. That trait, according to Bang Si-hyuk, is what makes him remember himself in his youth: an obsession with detail, a desire to constantly improve, and a fear of disappointing others. "When I saw Jungkook in the studio at 2 in the morning, I felt like I was looking at myself 20 years ago," Bang Si-hyuk said, in a follow-up interview published by Korean media. "He never stopped looking for ways to get better. And I know what it's like to live that way. To live between passion and pressure, between love for music and self-loathing when it fails." That statement made a lot of people inside HYBE touched. A staff member who has worked with Jungkook since his debut said that the relationship between Bang Si-hyuk and Jungkook is indeed unique. They rarely talked for a long time, but every time they met, their gazes were enough to understand each other. Bang Ptanim sees Jungkook not just as an artist, but as a younger version of himself, someone who fights against the world with the belief that music can save everything. The staff said, "In a wonder many say, the relationship between Bang Si-hyuk and Jungkook is not just a producer and artist relationship, but two souls forged by the same vision." Jungkook inherited Bang Si-hyuk's work ethic, extreme discipline, simplicity, and complete dedication to art. In fact, despite his tremendous success in America and Europe, Jungkook remains known for being humble, rarely talking about himself, and more often highlighting teamwork or support from the army. This attitude reminds many people of Bang Si-hyuk who, although now one of the most influential people in Asia, still appears simple and calm, as if he has nothing to be proud of besides his work. But this comparison also caused controversy. There are those who think Bang Si-hyuk is too touching the personal sphere by referring to himself in the context of his own artist. Some critics said the remarks could create additional pressure on Jungkook, who has endured high expectations from the public and industry. But fans see it the other way around. They assume that Bang Si-hyuk is asserting that Jungkook is not just a star. He is the successor to a legacy, a symbol of hard work, and a figure who carries HYBE's spirit to the next generation. If traced deeper, their relationship is indeed colored by small moments that are rarely known to the public. When BTS won their first Billboard award, Bang Si-hyuk reportedly sent a personal message to Jungkook saying, "You've proven what I used to believe." While Jungkook, in one of the interviews of the documentary Break the Silence, had tears when he mentioned Bang Si-hyuk's name. "That Bang PD Nim. She doesn't talk much, but I know she's always watching us. He's like a father in silence," Jungkook said in a trembling voice. Now that the comparison statement has gone viral, many fans feel that Bang Si-hyuk's remarks are his deepest form of honesty, an admission that he sees his true successor in Jungkook. That after decades of building a music empire from scratch, he finally found someone who could continue his dream without losing heart. Jungkook is not just a global idol, but a representation of the soul of a hard worker who never gives up, just like Bang Si-hyuk in the past. Korean media called this statement a symbolic moment in HYBE's history, because for the first time, the founder openly admits that there is someone in the next generation who is worth it in terms of passion and dedication. And it's not just anyone, but Jungkook, the once shy golden magne from Busan, now the global face of HYBE and a symbol of Korea's musical renaissance. Meanwhile, fans around the world responded with emotion. On Twitter, the hashtag #BangtantV had topped the global trend. Many wrote that they finally understood why Jungkook always seemed to carry a huge burden, because from the beginning, he was indeed set up to be the heir to that great vision. He is not only an artist under HYBE, he is a living mirror of the founder's philosophy. Sincere music never dies. And maybe that's why Bang Si-hyuk smiles when asked if he regrets comparing himself to Jungkook. "If someone can make me feel young again just by watching him work, I don't think I'm saying it wrong." The sentence echoes, simple but deep. For behind all the controversy and public attention, there may indeed be an undeniable truth that between different generations and long distances in time, the same spirit always finds its way back to life. And this time, the spirit was named Jungkook. After Bang Si-hyuk's statement shook the public, the internal reaction in HYBE's body was no less interesting. Many employees who have known the two for a long time say that Bang Si-hyuk's words were not just a platitude, but were born from years of observation. Jungkook is the only artist who often appears in the studio even when there is no official recording schedule. He came quietly, turned on the computer, held the headphones, and worked alone for hours. He doesn't need an audience. He doesn't need cheers. All he needs is a perfect result that makes him feel at ease. And that's where Bang Si-hyuk finds himself in the past. One of HYBE's senior producers, who had worked on BTS's debut project, recalled that Bang Si-hyuk often reminded the staff not to curb Jungkook's creative freedom.